Hi team, and welcome back to our fourth Mind State Masterclass session for you. For those playing along at home, I did mention that the last session was the fourth one. It was actually the third one. So we're on to our fourth one now. So just keeping track of that. Today I would like to plant some seeds and get you thinking and being curious about what motivates you, why you do different things. Is it an internal factor that motivates you? Or is it an external factor that motivates you? So we have our intrinsic, which is the inside, and the extrinsic, which is the outside factors that motivate us, either moving forward towards a goal or moving away from a goal. So I'm going to share a little story about a weightlifter that I met back when I competed in Barcelona. So a couple of years ago, I went to Barcelona to compete, and I was with the Australian team. And we're just hanging out for a couple of days beforehand. It was super cool, talking to them, listening to their stories, listening to how they were organising and prepping and everything they needed to do for their first world event. And I was talking to one athlete and she's like, I have to hit 80. I've got to hit 80. You know, I've got to do it. Like, I've got to hit that 80 kilos. And it meant everything to her to hit that 80 kilos. So for that example, that's an external factor. So that was something externally motivating her to continue on to hit this number. And it was her time to compete, and she didn't hit the 80. She failed. She walked off. She came and sat back down with us, and her first response was, well, that was a waste of 6 months. Which, was it a waste of 6 months? Surely there was a lot of other value in that 6 months, or surely there was a lot of other things that she could have learnt or that she valued along the way. But no, there wasn't. For her, it was an external factor of hitting that 80 kilos that was important. And since then, I haven't really seen her compete. So it's really sad because she's actually a fantastic lifter. And for me, when I compete, it's lovely to get PBs and it's lovely to come home with trophies, but that's not the real reason why I'm there for the day. Competing is just the cherry on top for me with the sport that I compete in, weightlifting. Everything else, all the other factors along the way, all the internal factors that I have for the reasons that my intrinsic motivators as to why I compete in weightlifting and why I participate in the sport, that's what keeps me going. I learned a long time ago, if I had external factors motivating me, making me wanting to hit these different numbers on the barbell, I had to hit this number, I had to hit that number, otherwise I would have felt like I was no good as a weightlifter. Or if the only reason I was going into the comp was to hit that PB to get that record, the barbell would sort me out every time. And then not only would it sort me out, on the other side of it, if you flip it over, if I hit those numbers or I walked away with the trophies, I didn't feel good about it. I never felt like I was worthy to win those trophies because my goalposts were external factors. Once I learned to strip it back and find my intrinsic motivators to keep me going and to keep me lifting, when I won, it was just the best feeling, because it wasn't an external factor or external gratification I was chasing. It was the internal gratification that I wanted, that made me feel good about what I did, made me feel good for all the hours that I put in. And never once have I said that was a waste of time, since I've discovered about the internal factors, the intrinsic motivators. So take a moment to think about what you like to achieve or what you would like to achieve. And if you'd like to stop the recording, get your journal out or a piece of paper, or have a ponder before I move on to the next point about what it is that you would like to achieve. Okay, so now that you've thought about what you'd like to achieve, have a think about And don't be afraid to really dig into it and dive deep and pull the thread and get curious as to why you want to achieve this. Is it external factors or is it an internal factor? Are you moving towards the goal or are you moving away from something, from a goal? Some people don't like to use internal factors. They prefer the external factors because they're too scared or they're afraid of what they'll find on the inside, because everything that they've perceived their whole life may not be true. The stories that they've been telling themselves may not align with what they want to achieve. So they use the external factors of hitting PBs and hitting these target weight loss goals because it's what society wants. But it's truly not deep in here. I could write a book, 1,000,001 reasons as to why people don't want to train or people don't want to move or people don't want to achieve goals or set goals. I've heard every excuse under the sun. And that's all it is an excuse. The biggest one is time. We all have enough time. We do. It's just whether you have the energy to put into it. That's the one thing you need to think about. That's the main factor involved here. So time, external, energy, internal. Yeah, so whether you have the energy inside you to give to what you want to achieve. You know, and some people just don't like to achieve things because they're scared. But we need to have that scared. We need to be scared. We need to be pushed outside of our comfort zones. Otherwise, the pathways aren't going to connect in our brains and we're never going to truly achieve it, what we want to achieve. So just take a moment and think about, really delve deep, pause the video again and think about, brainstorm all the external factors or the internal factors and see how you go. Cool, so thank you for today. I hope you are well. Thank you for your heartbeats. I do appreciate you taking the time to listen. If there's anything else I can help you with, please just ask. Thank you.